It's Sunday morning, and every decent man and woman is listening to Test Miles with Nick Miles on FM News 101 KXL. Buckle in.
Well, Sunday morning, welcome to Test Miles. Another hour.
Yeah.
The whole team here.
Good morning.
Another hour of entertainment. Andrew is here. Good morning, Andrew.
Hello.
Have you recovered from New York?
No, I haven't. I'm still on New York time. I'm 3 hours ahead of myself. I don't know what to do with my life right now.
Your lovely lady actually dropped you in it yesterday.
She dropped me in New York?
No, she dropped you in the nasty place. She told me something. She said, Andy called me from New York and said, I'm ready to come home now. It's tough.
Well, we're going to have a little chat when I get home.
Yeah, it's tough working for network television. You get about 3 hours sleep a night. Sean is here. Good morning.
Good morning, Portland.
You had a week off while we're in New York.
I don't know if I had a week off, but yeah.
And you're back at school.
Back in school, killing myself, doing all-nighters, and trying to do everything else.
However,
so I'm extremely tired.
Most of us did it 20 years ago.
Yeah.
We're all right.
Yeah, I know. I'm that old guy at school, but oh well.
Brad, you're here?
I'm here, ready to go. A week off.
Yes, you gave up Test Miles to spend last Sunday with Jesus.
Spend time with the family, with Jesus and the children, and
I can't.
It's so much easier being in here.
I haven't heard anything from you in like a week, buddy.
I know. I'm recovering from 45 Easter egg hunts over and over and over.
And that's a whole different story. I'm not going to go there. Oli's here as well. Good morning, Oli.
Hello.
Right, so this week, a very busy week for us at the Test Miles crew, car-wise. We're going to be heading to Washington on Tuesday for an event which is the Northwest Automotive Press Association Mudfest. And rather than me trying to explain what Mudfest is, we have a guest on the phone, Ryan Douthit. Ryan, good morning.
There he is.
Are you there? Is he there?
Oh,
no,
Ryan, maybe he's not there. Okay,
right.
Let me try and get him on here.
All right, we'll get Ryan on in a minute. Ryan is the chairperson of Mudfest. He puts the whole thing together.
I actually started this event, 20-some years ago.
You did?
And we used to create it out at PIR. First Mudfest ever was up at Mount Hood, and we just kind of dug some semi-legal driving areas around and did loops, and then did
Don't
ride
get yourself
drives.
in trouble. I think
the statute of limitations.
I don't know if it expires. Not on federal land.
We didn't leave any bodies.
You're the creator of Mudfest? The original one?
I was with Jerry Smith and a few other original members.
So what Mudfest is basically an off-road competition. But Ryan Douthit joining us on the phone. Good morning, Ryan.
Ryan?
Doing today.
Good. So, Ryan, you're the chairperson of Mudfest for Northwest Automotive Press Association. Why don't you synopsize what Mudfest is?
Okay, it gives us an opportunity. Basically, have you already covered what NOAPA is?
No, just apart from saying the name, hopefully that people would have got it. It's a press association for drivers, for automotive journalists and people that like to be involved in cars.
Right, and members of our organization, though we're all Northwest-based, we write for or produce for publications and TV shows that are viewed all the way around the world, including New York Times, papers in Portland, and, of course, radio shows such as this one. So we cover kind of a wide swath of the automotive market. So what Mudfest does is it gives us an opportunity to truly test these off-road capable vehicles in a side-by-side situation where we'll have 24 of the top SUVs and outdoor activity vehicles, and we can just take them the same vehicles one after the next through a pre-set up course so that you can truly see how one vehicle will compare versus another vehicle in what could be anything from a simple gravel road to, in the case of like a 4Runner, a technical off-road course, which has full articulation where you can really test out the differentials. And in our everyday reviews, because like a lot of auto journalists, we get cars all the time, but we don't always have a large closed course at our disposal to basically, really push the differentials and the test equipment and the maximum off-road capabilities of these vehicles.
So now there's 25 of these journalists who test drive these vehicles, and actually Sean, Brad, and myself are all members of the Northwest Automotive Press Association. So Sean and I will be there this year doing the test. Can you tell us about some of the vehicles that are fairly new and significant that we'll be testing? And I know I'm asking you this off the top of your head. You probably have to pull a list up because I'm sure you haven't got all 25 or 24 memorized.
Oh, come on, I'm a professional. I have a list right here.
Excellent.
In the compact utility vehicle, one of the new entries that I'm actually, there's two that I'm really excited to get onto the course here. I've driven both of them before, but in completely different situations. There's the new Jeep Cherokee Trailhawk, which, you know, some people love the looks, hate the looks, but the one thing I will say is I have driven this vehicle off-road, and it was amazing. But what I'm really looking forward to doing is putting it into this course that we've set up, because I've driven lots of other vehicles through it, and I want to see how it really compares. I know how it is on its own, but let's see how it compares versus the competition. Another one is the Subaru XV Crosstrek Hybrid. Now, this is Subaru's first hybrid vehicle in the U.S., and it's going to be pretty interesting. Now, I have driven that car as well, but I drove it in Iceland for my TV show. So driving across, 90 mile per hour, sub-freezing zero temperatures is one thing, but driving it in a course where somebody will, in the Northwest here, we go hiking, camping. We do a lot of that kind of stuff. And the roads that we simulate are those kind of roads. So it'll be interesting to see how that one actually deals with, more realistic situations for myself.
Now, what there's five. I've probably got time for one more question, Ryan. There's 5 different categories, is that right? Or 5 different trophies that can be won?
5 categories, yes.
So tell me, do you know what they are?
We break them down into the compact utility, family utility, premium, which includes like the Mercedes and the Volvos, and then the premium, premium compact as well as premium standard. And then on top of that, we have the extremely capable utility vehicle, which would be like the Land Rovers, the Jeep Wrangler Unlimited, and the Toyota 4Runners. And
so all these journalists will get to vote at the end, and then there will be, next week, we'll be able to bring them a winner. Is that right?
Exactly, yeah. We'll have the 5 class winners, and then we will also be picking our Northwest Outdoor Activity Vehicle of the Year.
Excellent. Ryan, thanks so much for taking time out of your Sunday morning and joining us. That means Sean and myself, will be up at Mudfest this year, and we will be driving around. In fact, next week's show will be from the Mudfest event, partially, and we'll have the announcement of the winner. We'll also get some time in those vehicles to really test them on the show here so we know exactly what they are. Sean, is there anything specifically you're looking forward to driving?
I'm excited to drive the Trailhawk. You've been in it, and
this is the Cherokee, the Jeep
Cherokee. Yes,
yeah, it's what replaced the Liberty.
I'm just excited to drive it. I like the look of it. I love the Trailhawk. I love the graphics on it. So I'm excited to get into that.
And I think the other thing
you actually like the looks of it?
I do like the looks of it. It looks aggressive.
Excellent. Thanks so much, Ryan. You're listening to Test Miles on FM News 101. We'll have more, including being joined from Vincent from Acura. He's coming up in the next break. We'll be talking about a car he's bringing to Mudfest, which is the MDX. And we'll also be talking about the new Acura TLX, which was announced at the New York show. We got to see him there. You're going to get to talk to him live here on the show and find out what that new Acura has in store for those people who are looking for a full-size or a mid-size luxury sedan. I'm Nick Miles. This is Test Miles.
It's Test Miles on FM News 101. Test Miles, like NASCAR, but with one right turn. TestMiles.com.
I clearly am that right turn. Welcome back to Test Miles, a Sunday morning. The whole team is here.
Hi, guys.
And this morning, talking about cars, Andrew and I, spent some time at the New York International Auto Show, as you well know if you listen to the show regularly. And one of the vehicles that was introduced and debuted there was Acura's new TLX. And Vince Manganiello, no, Vince, you're going to have to pronounce it for me. I can never pronounce your last name. How do you say it?
This is Vince Manganiello.
Manganiello. There you go. I am a horrible pronouncer. Vince, you're from Acura, and you actually were very nice to look after us in New York a little bit and arranged some executive interviews for us about your new TLX. And I'm kind of excited about this vehicle, so tell me a little bit how first of all, the name TLX is new for you too, right?
That's correct. Yeah, it's an all-new car for us, and we are very excited about it as well. What we've done is we've taken two of our cars, the TL and the TSX, and we've come up with a car that's sort of in between in size, but gives up nothing in interior space to the larger car. So in a nutshell, basically, we've taken the TL, which is our nice premium mid-size luxury sedan, and we've kept the interior space, and we've taken about 4 inches off the exterior, which gives it more athletic proportions.
Now, this actually opens up a space for a new car, doesn't it, I guess? You have something between the TLX and the ILX, which is your smallest vehicle right now.
Yeah, it makes for a more logical sedan hierarchy. We have the entry ILX sedan, and then we'll have the TLX in the middle, and then at the top of the sedan hierarchy, we'll have the RLX, which is our premium sedan.
Now, X tends to denote all-wheel drive, so these vehicles are available with all-wheel drive. Is that right?
Yes, actually, it's not just all-wheel drive. We call it super handling all-wheel drive, and it has the ability to spin the outside wheels faster, and those are the outside wheels in a turn, and helps the car handle the turns better. It
actually it's quite remarkable when you drive it. I have driven the super handling all-wheel drives. You have it in your Acura MDX, and you have it in several of the other vehicles, and it does make a huge difference, especially when you corner at speed. So I was reading about this car, and one of the interesting things is, so there's two engine choices, and those engines come with quite unique transmissions, don't they?
Yes, actually. We're going to be in the 2.4 liter, it's a 4-cylinder engine in the TLX. We'll have a 8-speed dual clutch transmission. And what's unique about this is that it comes with a torque converter. We believe it's an industry first, and the advantage of that is it takes out some of the rough edges of the dual clutch transmission. It actually makes it much smoother and provides for good torque under launch off the line.
And then the bigger engine is the 3-liter?
Yeah, it's a 3.5-liter V6, and while it's all new for TLX, it does share some of the characteristics from the MDX engine, which is actually a fairly new engine for us. It's a great engine with great fuel economy, and it's got direct injection as well.
And so I think the amazing thing to me is, so the 4-cylinder made it to an 8-speed transmission, and the 6-cylinder made it to a 9-speed transmission. So you guys are really upping into the transmission, number of gears you have. And is that purely for fuel economy?
A lot of it has to do with fuel economy, but there are some performance benefits as well. So, we're excited to have these now in the Acura line.
You said there's 9 transmissions. I thought there was only 6 in the car.
No, that's cylinders, Andrew.
No, but like when you shift it, like reverse, right. Go forward, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 5, right?
Can you tell Vince that Andrew is the non-driver in the family? He's the professional passenger.
Well, there's 9?
There's 9
there's
gears.
Never been 9 before. It's only been 5, right?
Several people have 9 gears, but it's now a fuel economy thing to try and save. The more gears you have, the better fuel economy you get because the engine has to rev less. So what is the fuel economy, Vince, of the new TLX, I should say?
TLX, actually, I don't have the numbers right in front of me, but the TLX is an improvement by quite a bit over the TL. And so, I think the numbers we've published, but, they're still being finalized.
And so that means the EPA actually rate off on them. Now, quite a few changes. You guys went with LED lights not only in the front, but you also got them in the mirrors, too.
We do. We went with LED lights in the headlights. And one thing I'd like to note about those is that I was speaking to one of the engineers, and it's not just about the amount of light that comes from it, but the quality of light. So apparently the LEDs on the TLX actually have a good quality of light that actually helps you see further down the road. So it's not just the power of the light, but actually the color of the light. Right,
so you use sort of something that's closer to daylight, I think, and when I've looked at those lights, too, it's a much whiter light. It stretches so much further, and so the new signature headlights in the Acuras, and I think it was first seen in the RLX when you showed that at LA Auto Show a couple of years ago, and now with the TLX, these headlights are called dual-eyed headlights. Is that right?
That's what we call them, yes.
And it's sort of the best way for me to explain it. It's almost like having a row of an egg box where there's like 5 or 6 of them, and they're very square, and they really do make a huge difference when you project them down the road. The other thing I think is kind of interesting for a lot of people that they don't really sort of understand this is not only the front wheels steer in this car, but the rear wheels steer as well, don't they?
That's correct, yes. On the versions that are not all-wheel drive, you have what we call precision all-wheel steer.
You guys are changing the game. You guys got nine transmissions and rear moving wheels. That's a game changer, baby.
So what does it do to really help? Because it's not the sort of they don't move immensely the rear wheels. For instance, it wouldn't help you with parking on the side of the road, but it will help you with going around a corner and braking, right?
Yes, so they do move a few degrees, and when you're, for example, if you're at fairly high-speed highway speed and you want to make a quick lane change, the wheels in the rear actually turn the same direction of the front wheels. So if you steer a little bit right, the rear wheels will turn a little bit to the right also. So that helps with sort of high-speed maneuvers. Now, at lower speeds, like in a parking lot, the wheels actually turn in the opposite direction of the steering wheel to help you slide into a parking spot if you're parallel parking.
And I like that idea too, and it does feel. I know I've experienced that on the original or the first version of the RL before you guys launched the hybrid, and you had that system on there. Also, you have a new AccuRelink on the inside as well. Now, this is your sort of infotainment system. It's a cloud-based system. And what's been upgraded on AccuRelink this year?
Actually, we're using in the TLX, it's actually going to be familiar with people who have driven the RLX and the MDX because it's a similar system to that. So that the system allows you to obviously connect to your phone, and you can listen to AHA radio and Pandora if you want to stream music. It'll also allow if you opt for the connected services package, it'll also allow things like for you to check on your car. If it's parked somewhere, you can look to see whether the doors are unlocked or locked or when it needs its next oil change.
All right, so complete operation from your cell phone. Now, I just want to switch gears a little bit here, Vincent, and you are going to be at Mudfest. We talked about that on the last break. You're going to be up there, and what are you bringing to Mudfest this year?
We are going to bring an MDX.
Excellent, and this is your, I guess we would call it a full-size SUV, or is it a mid-size SUV? It's always difficult for me, because when you put it up against something like the Chevy Tahoe, it's clearly not as big as that, but it is the biggest SUV that Acura make, right?
That's correct. It's our full-size SUV. It's a good size, definitely not the size of a Suburban or something like that, but it's a good 7-passenger vehicle. And so it's got a lot of utility in that regard. It's a passenger hauler and a cargo hauler. Really, it's hard for me to start with to talk about MDX because it does so many things well.
Awesome. Well, thanks very much, Vince. We will we'll spend some time with you up in the Seattle area, and we may talk to you while we drive that MDX. This is Test Miles. You're listening to FM News 101. It is a very, very beautiful Sunday morning, and we will have some Car Care Month stuff coming up, and we're going to tell you about Project Discovery. All that and more on Test Miles to come.
Throw it in neutral and coast in with TestMiles.com. Favorite us, tweet us, friend us, love us, all at TestMiles.com.
Did you know April is National Car Care Month? If you didn't, you need to go out in your garage now and give your car a little love and make sure you look after it. On the phone with us, Mike Pennington is a product expert from Maguire's. Good morning, Mike.
Good morning. Happy Sunday to you.
Yes, happy Sunday to you, too. I just want to ask you why we just have to have a National Car Care Month. Shouldn't we take care of our cars all the time?
Well, actually we should. Every month should be National Car Care Month. But if you think about it, there's spring cleaning, and a lot of people forget to take care of their car coming out of the winter months. So this kind of really emphasizes that it's time to get rid of winter and look forward to spring and summer.
Excellent. So what are the sort of things that I should be thinking about when I take care of my car?
Well, if you think about it, and what Mother Nature brings to you in the wintertime, it's a lot of rain, it's a lot of snow. And unfortunately, we all have a tendency to not care for our cars during those winter months. So you get a lot of buildup, you get a lot of excessive grime that really lands on that paint, especially that exterior, and really bonds to it. So a thorough cleaning is probably one of the best things we can say for spring cleaning. And that doesn't just mean, your regular wash the paint down. And we're talking clean your wheels, rinse your wheel wells, rinse your undercarriage, and take a little extra time. That's the first step in spring cleaning.
Now, I know a lot of people are guilty of this, and I need you to set the record straight. People will go out to wash their car this morning, and they'll go to the kitchen, and they'll get the dishwashing liquid, and they'll fill the bucket with it, and you get this soapy stuff. That's bad for the car, right?
Absolutely, and I think a lot of people, still fall into that habit that they did when they were growing up. But really, when you use dishwashing detergents, you're really stripping your wax protection, you're stripping those vitals, oils out of the paint, and it can really lead to, let's call it premature oxidation. So you should always use a quality car wash. I mean, we make several to choose from, but like our Gold Class is premium, pH balanced, great sudsing, and will actually enhance your wax protection and extend your wax protection.
So what happens then when I drop my cheeseburger on it? So the Dawn isn't good? Because the Dawn cuts the grease, right, and the cheeseburger's greasy?
Well, there you go. In that situation, it may be a little bit different for you, but a good car wash will still be beneficial. But I'd be more worried about the cheeseburger on the inside versus that outside.
Yeah. Mike, you'd be surprised how many times that's come up in my life.
Mike, let me ask.
In that case.
Let me ask you this question. So I look a lot of times at these vehicles, and years ago I used to drive. I used to work a 911. I used to drive a vehicle that had flashing lights and sirens. And we used to come out beginning of our shift and clean these vehicles with these big car brushes that were on the end of, like, they basically look like yard brushes, deck brushes.
Like a mop?
Yeah, like a deck brush that you would clean your deck with. That's also, what you actually put against the surface of your car is very, very important to how it looks, right?
Oh, absolutely. And a lot of people, don't consider something as simple as, what you're touching your vehicle. And when you're washing that car, something as simple as a brush can actually inflict a lot of swirls and scratches. So you should always, always grab a clean, quality wash mitt, whether that's microfiber or lamb's wool. There's a lot of great qualities, but make sure that wash mitt is new, make sure it's clean, and make sure you wash and actually dry your wash mitt on a regular basis. And there's all kinds of things because, boy, it's easy to get scratches and swirls out, but it's even easier to put them in with dirty wash mitts, dirty brushes, dirty towels. It happens in a blink of an eye.
One of the big mistakes that I've seen people do, and trying to teach my kids this, is don't use the same mop that you use to clean your wheels to go wipe off your car.
That is a great tip and a real simple tip, because you're just mixing and matching, those different kinds of contaminants. And even on top of that is we recommend and preach 2 buckets when you're working on your paint. That first bucket is actually going to have your wash solution in it, and that's what you're going to be dunking and bringing your wash solution back on your paint. But that second bucket is really a rinse bucket with just plain water in it. So once you washing, starting from the top down and you're getting your mitt dirty, before you go back in and grab fresh suds, go into that plain bucket of water and rinse your mitt out really good and get rid of all the contamination that's on your mitt. Then go ahead and grab some fresh wash solution. That will also minimize any scratches or swirls.
I'm a big preacher of having actually a grit guard at the bottom of your bucket. That you can buy them for about $5 from pretty much any good car care store, and it's a small little grid that goes to the bottom of your bucket, and when you put the sponge in to the bottom, it doesn't allow you to pick up any grit in it. It kind of lets the grit settle below the water line or at the bottom of the bucket where you can't actually touch it. Now, claying your car is a term that's used a lot with people who want to make their cars look good. What is claying your car?
Well, claying your car is really one of the big secrets that have been, detailers have been using it for years, but it's available to kind of over the counter. But especially coming out of, springtime and winter and it's time, a lot of that contamination has landed on your paint and is actually bonded to that finish. So if you wash and dried your vehicle, you can rub your hand right across that vehicle and it will actually probably feel like sandpaper. So that's where these clay products come into play. We make a product called Smooth Surface Clay Kit, that comes with everything you need to take that clay, and it actually removes and makes that finish as smooth as glass.
Now,
and that is so important because that's where your wax is going to last longer and your car's actually going to look better.
Now, so claying a car, is that different from waxing? And again, I always see waxing your car as something that's like really, I mean, it takes forever. I mean, Sean has a garage full of very precious cars that he spends hours waxing them and putting wax on and making them look great. But you don't have to spend all that time waxing a vehicle, do you? You can actually find some new products. Meguiar's has some products which are fairly quick wax products where you don't have to put a lot of the work in but give you the shine.
Well, and we like to say, if you're struggling and working and, sweating and spending a lot of time, you're probably using the wrong tools and doing the process wrong. So there's a lot of great tools that we make and that are available on the market. You mentioned RigGuard is one of those great tools that really makes that job easier and quicker. But to your point about waxing is, a lot of people think, it's springtime, let's wash and wax my car this afternoon, but they're really missing those important steps like claying that vehicle to make that surface smooth. Really preparation before you put on your wax, because if you think about waxing, it's like putting sunscreen on your skin. It only adds that protection, but that's not really what makes that car look good. So claying, using the appropriate rubbing compound that's designed for clear coats, all that preparation makes it look good. Then you lay your coat of wax on for protection. And if you do it right, it's pretty quick, it's pretty easy, and the results are certainly fantastic.
Mike Pennington is joining us here on the phone. He is from Meguiar's, the product expert, and TestMiles is celebrating April, which is Car Care Month. Mike, final question. If somebody wants to find out the line of products that Meguiar's has, and of course there's lots of good products out there, but where can they go to find out what they can use on their car and some tips for spring cleaning?
Well, we're certainly on all the, social media channels, Facebook, Twitter. You can find us at Meguiars.com. But if you want to talk to us directly, our surface care experts can be contacted 6 days a week at 1-800-347-5700, and we'll walk you through any challenge you may have and make sure you get the right products to make your car look good.
All right, excellent. Thank you so much for joining us this morning on TestMiles. That is Mr. Mike Pennington from Meguiar's, and we're celebrating, of course, Car Care Month here. Spending time with your car is what this show is all about. A couple of other things that we have coming up this morning. We're going to talk to you a little bit about Project Discovery. We're also going to talk to you about what we have been driving this week and what Andy let us take out of the garage. And we're going to talk about one of the biggest fails of this show, something that we set up that actually hasn't happened.
Oh, no. Did I do it?
Yep. Andrew still doesn't have a driver's license, and we're going to call Ole out and ask him why he hasn't got him one.
Ah, come on.
Why? No, we'll wait for it. We'll do it in the next segment. We'll take a quick break. You're listening to FM News 101. This is Test Miles. I'm Nick Miles. We'll be back in a moment.
Test Miles, like NASCAR, but with one right turn. TestMiles.com.
Check us out on the website. You can go to testmiles.com and see bits and pieces, stories that we've posted, and also you can look at some of the videos from TV stations around the country that we've done. And hopefully we'll have the NBC Sports show up there soon that Andrew and I were working on while we were in New York City recently.
So exciting. I can't wait for it.
It's, I think, now I was thinking about this, I'm going to toss this out as we talk, that this show, the NBC Sports show, will premiere in May. I was thinking that we should ask Alpha if we could use the Bing Lounge and have a premiere and maybe have it catered and invite listeners and clients and the Tonkins and Mobile West and Colorworks and Salem Car and all those guys that are sort of involved in the show and advertise on the show, Jim Fish and Volvo and all the other advertisers that we have, and have kind of a
soiree.
Yeah, soiree, and then they can watch the hour-long show.
Okay, my first and only question: will there be alcohol served?
Well, I think it'd have to be.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, then I'm coming.
Providing that people have a ride home.
Correct.
Or they take the Max, which happens to stop right outside the Bing Lounge. Did you notice that?
Or Lucky Limousine could give them a ride.
Lucky Limousine could give them a ride. Yeah,
perfect.
Brad, you could hire Brad for the day, and he'll chauffeur you around and take it. Maybe we give that away as a prize. Ooh, my mind.
There's so many things. Explosions.
My explosions of ideas.
I'll take them on an East Side Portland bar tour.
Of course you will.
I want to help chaperone that
I can list about 5 places you'll be going that we can't talk about on the air. All right, we have 9 minutes to get through a whole bunch of stuff, so I want to talk a little bit about an idea that we've come up with on the show. We're going to do something called Project Discovery, and we have a 2002 Land Rover Discovery, and what we thought we'd like to do in a couple of years' time or a year's time or so is do a SEMA vehicle, but that sort of stuff doesn't happen immediately, so we'd have to go to a manufacturer, get the vehicle, and then we'd use a lot of the Portland car guys to kit out the vehicle. Now, manufacturers are always offering us vehicles to go do this with, but we thought we need to practice for a year, so we're going to take this 2002 Land Rover Discovery and completely revamp it. We're going to make it kind of a luxury show dog vehicle. And we're going to do new exterior, new interior. Oli had some cool ideas. You had an idea about an air compressor in the back, right?
Well, I just thought if it was going to be dog-oriented that we could get some kind of tube to where you could launch tennis balls out of it. But I don't know. It's
Such
just
a
the
great
same
idea.
kind of
That's awesome.
random brainstorm. And then you could, and then if you did events, you could, Sean was saying we could shoot shirts and stuff. I don't know. I'm sure there's some liabilities involved.
I want a vacuum cleaner in the back, too.
Yeah, of course you do, Granddad.
What about hold the phone? What about the back of the seats made out of like chew toys or
Licorice.
bone?
Oh, yeah,
yes.
so the dogs could chew on the
Yes.
a rawhide back
That
of the
way you
seats.
can never get mad at them because they have rawhide seats.
That's actually an interesting
Trademark.
idea. We could have things. We thought about having a bladder in there to fill a water bowl or for a dog wash, flip down water bowl. There's lots of things. So we're going to have this Project Discovery.
Oh, I'm anxiety,
we're
Dad.
you are.
There's so many ideas.
We're going to go to the Portland Auto Show and Greg Remensberger and Jeff Fishback, and we're going to ask them if we can actually display this car at the Portland Auto Show next year. So the ideas that we thought of, and if you have a car-oriented business that you're interested in, we have a few people involved in it already. We've talked to ColorWorks, would like to do the exterior wrap on the car, and Mobile West want to do the in-car audio, the technologies, and the entertainment. Peter, of course, our friend from Mobile West. And then we had some guys come on last night called Car Salem, who are a shop in Salem who do general auto mechanics, and they sort of want to get the car up to speed, so to make sure it doesn't have any oil leaks.
It is
or
an
anything.
02 Discovery, so there's some electrical.
You know, the electric's always been fine. When I put the windshield wipers on, they take about 20 minutes to start. But there's a lot of leaking issues. The leaking issues is probably a hose and those type of things. But Car Salem's, we're going to have Brian on from Car Salem, and actually he's going to give the vehicle the once-over. And I also, the Cascade, I think it's Wheels and Tires, which is one of the Tonkins companies. We're going to talk to them. We're going to see if they're interested in doing the wheels and tires on the vehicle. And then when we go to places, for instance, when we go to dealerships or we do live shows, we'll bring the car along so everybody could see it. So it'll be kind of our mobile situation. So go to testmiles.com. Email us if you'd like to be part of this. The categories we're looking at, things like paint, interior coachworks, new carpet, tow hitch installation, trailer. We could put trailer, two-way radios, Wi-Fi in the car, detail company, emergency light systems. We could even have it bulletproofed because,
That's such a good idea. Everything Kevlar, head to toe.
But the interior definitely we need someone to come on board. If they're into that. A winch, we could have a winch on it. We could put all those modifications, accessories, light bars, engine modifications and tuning, brakes, wheels, tires, which hopefully Cascade will be interested in. So if you're interested, go to TestMiles, get hold of us, or you go to our Facebook page, TestMiles, and let us know that you're interested in doing this.
My best friend, Sergio, works for Atomic Auto, so they can hook us up with all sorts of stuff.
All right, make
there.
it happen.
Okay, Sergio, I'm calling you later.
All right, we have very little time to get through the stuff we need to get through. What did you check out of the garage this week, Sean?
I have the 2014 Jetta TDI. Love this vehicle and is the best fuel economy vehicle out there, I think, that's not a Prius. I'm getting 40 miles in this car. It actually has power. It looks nice. And I love the fact that it's not a Prius. It actually is a sedan. It's not a door wedge.
You have, it's diesel, right?
It's diesel, yes. That's what TDI is for.
Do you have manual, automatic?
It's an automatic. The only bad thing with the car is the interior is a little dated, a few years behind, and I wish they would update that a little bit. But that being said, I'd still own this car as my daily driver because there's performance on it. You can get on it on the freeway and still get good fuel economy.
You're getting about 40 miles a gallon. What sort of price to get into a TDI?
Mine is base, and it's just a tad over 28,000.
I don't think that's bad. I think that's a fairly good price.
No, and I mean, like, I've driven it so far for the week 320 miles, and I'm exactly at a half a tank of gas.
Brad, what do you got?
I have the opposite end of the spectrum. So I went to Andy. I said, I've turned in my man card for the last few weeks, and we walked around the garage and found a bright red Dodge Durango RT. It's my favorite so far, 7-passenger SUV. It comes in 4 different trim levels. All of them have 7 passengers. Ergonomics are fantastic. The new 8.4-inch touchscreen.
It also has the Hemi. Oh, you have the big engine in it.
Yeah.
They have the rally version, of course, built on the Mercedes GL. I think that car is one of my choices for full-size SUV. I actually have had time to drive the Volvo V60. We'll talk more about that very soon. And Andrew, still no driver's license?
No driver's license. I'm sorry. I let Portland down.
I need an update next time we're on the air.
Deal.
All right. Oli? Deal? All right.
We're working on it.
Get Andy a driver's license. Someone needs to start a Facebook page.
It's a slow process.
You're listening to
It's been over 30
FM
years
News
already.
101. It's Test Miles. I'm Nick Miles. We'll catch you next week. Thanks for being here.